the exact conditions in your present moment that will lead to that future becoming inevitable. If this is shifting something fundamental in how you see reality, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to stay connected with this frequency of understanding. This is why you're here. This is why you found this video. This is why these words are landing in your consciousness with a recognition that goes deeper than intellectual understanding. Your future self guided you here because this moment of realization is a crucial node in the timeline that leads to your becoming. Let me show you how this actually works. Every thought you think, every choice you make, every emotion you feel is creating what quantum physicists call quantum signatures. Unique vibrational patterns that ripple through the fabric of space and time. These signatures don't just affect your local reality. They create interference patterns with other quantum signatures across time, establishing what we might call temporal resonance. When your future
Hi there, my name is John McCarthy, and I'd like to welcome you to Pga Tour 2K25. Can't wait for the golf. I can't stress that enough. I'm very excited about the golf today. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina today at the Quail Hollow Club. All right, best of luck to you.
Sudden insights, as opportunities that seem to appear out of nowhere, as people saying exactly.
That's a poor place for a tree.
But here's where it gets even more.
All right, load up. Let's let this go.
These quantum signatures operate on multiple layers simultaneously. On the mental layer, they appear as thoughts and ideas that seem to come from nowhere. Those sudden aha moments when you understand something you've never consciously known. On the emotional layer, they manifest as feelings of knowing, as inexplicable attraction to certain choices.
It's setting up here from an elevated position
that guide you toward experiences your logical mind can't yet comprehend. On the physical layer, quantum signatures show up as what we call embodied resonance. Those moments when your body responds to something before your mind has even processed it. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt either energized or drained? Have you ever met someone and instantly known whether they were aligned with your path or not?
I think you might be coming up a bit short from the rough here.
This is your quantum signature field interfacing with the quantum signatures of your environment.
Let's get out of this. This is a little spinachy for my liking.
Create what we might call reality anchors. Stable points in the quantum field that draw experiences towards you like a magnet.
Ooh, that's unfortunate.
When your future self achieves a certain level of consciousness,
what happened there?
That achievement
creates here's our third shot
that begins pulling your present moment reality toward that achievement. This is why some people seem to effortlessly attract the experiences they desire, while others struggle with the same goals for years.
Well, your approach is heading a little leftward.
Luck or external circumstances. It's about quantum signature alignment.
This is out of the second cut here.
Recognize the difference between thoughts that originate from your current limitations and insights that are being transmitted from your future wisdom. This isn't speculation. This is observable, measurable quantum phenomena.
There we go. We cleared the bunker. Almost went into the bunker even, but you planned it beautifully. We're on the green. We're putting. Okay, and from the green side bunker, let's nestle this one in nice and close.
The ability to distinguish between different types of information flowing through your consciousness. Most people experience a constant stream.
Okay, out of that bunker onto the green now. That's good stuff. Now let's try. See what we can do with that long putt. This is a super long putt. No two ways around it. Let's see how you do. This is a bit of an S turn here. It goes right, then it goes left. Let's see if you can find a way to the cup.
Carrying different levels of creative power. There's
good putt from there. Not a lot left to do.
From your conditioned past. Thoughts, emotions, and reactions.
This putt is about 26 feet from the cup.
Playing out familiar loops, repeating what you've always known. This information feels heavy, repetitive, limiting. It keeps you trapped in the same experiences because it's literally broadcasting the same quantum signatures you've always broadcasted.
Oh,
Then there's information that comes from your present moment awareness, direct perception,
and this putt for the double.
clear seeing of what's actually happening right now, without the filter of past conditioning or future projection. This information feels fresh, alive,
3 feet to
responsive.
go.
It allows you to navigate current circumstances with clarity and presence.
We're starting the round off
And
above
then there's
par.
information
Don't even
that
worry
comes from
about
your
it. Lots
future
of golf
self.
left to play.
Insights, guidances, originate from a version of you.
All right,
that has
second hole
already
is a
transcended
par
your
4.
current limitations.
I think you know what to do.
This information feels expansive, inspiring, impossible yet somehow deeply true. It calls you toward experiences and choices that your logical mind might resist.
Well, that's too
Your
bad.
deeper wisdom recognizes.
Okay,
as
next on the tee.
accepted. Learning to distinguish between these different streams of information is one of the most important skills you can develop as a quantum conscious mind. Because when you can recognize which thoughts are coming from past conditioning, which
Be careful with this
perceptions
one.
are
We're in
arising from
the
present
mulch.
awareness,
It's no fun.
and which insights are being transmitted from future wisdom, you can begin to consciously choose which stream to follow. But here's what no one tells you about working with quantum consciousness.
I don't know if this one has
It
enough from
requires
the
you
rough.
to completely reimagine your relationship to time and causality. You have to stop
Here's
thinking of
our
yourself
second
as
shot
someone
on
who's
hole number
trying
2.
to create a future, and start recognizing yourself as someone who is remembering a future that already exists. This shift in perspective changes everything. When you're trying to create something, you're operating from lack, from the assumption that what you want doesn't yet exist.
I don't think you're going to make it here out of the
Pushing
rough.
against the present moment, fighting with current circumstances, attempting to force
I
reality.
don't know what that was.
to
Just a little
conform
off on
to
that
your
approach.
desires. This creates resistance, friction, struggle. It's exhausting because you're working against the natural flow of quantum consciousness. But when you shift into remembering, something completely different happens. You align with the quantum signature that your future self is broadcasting backward through time. You stop trying to create and start allowing yourself to become. You stop forcing outcomes and start following the synchronistic breadcrumbs that your future self is leaving for you. I'm curious, what old patterns of forcing or struggling are you ready to release? Share in the comments what you're choosing to let go of as you step into this flow. This is what's meant by effortless manifestation. It's not that no effort is required. It's that the effort becomes aligned with quantum flow rather than opposed to it. You're no longer swimming upstream.
Let's get up and out of here.
You're allowing time to carry you toward the future that's already crystallized. Let me give you a practical example of how this works in real life. Think about someone you know who seems to have an uncanny ability
And
to
we
be
will
at
be
the right
putting
place
now.
at
Let's
the
forget
right
about
time,
that bunker and move on.
to make decisions that
And you've got
consistently
this
work out,
left for par on this
to
one.
attract opportunities
This one's
that
got a pretty
others
hard
miss.
break left to the right.
These people aren't lucky. They're not blessed by some external force. They've simply learned, either consciously or unconsciously, to attune their present moment awareness to the quantum signatures being broadcast by their
Bit
future
long
self.
on that one.
They've learned to recognize the difference
All right,
between thoughts
nothing to worry
that
about.
come
Just the
from
bogey putt.
limitation
That's all.
and insights that
Looks
come
like this
from
one's
future
breaking to
wisdom.
the right.
They've learned to distinguish between emotions that are reactions to
Oh, it's
present
going right by.
circumstances and feelings that are previews of coming attractions. They've
Here's a
learned to
9-foot
trust
putt.
the subtle guidance that's always available when you know how to listen for it. But here's what most people don't understand about this process.
And down
It's
it
not
goes.
just about receiving
Good little
guidance
putt there.
from your future self. It's about actively participating in a quantum dialogue across time.
This is your
Present
bogey
moment
putt.
choices and consciousness also influence what your future self is able to achieve. Your willingness to trust and act on quantum guidance strengthens the connection and makes even more sophisticated guidance
And this
possible.
putt's around 7 feet.
This creates what we might call a quantum feedback loop. Your future self sends guidance backward.
And the current score to beat is +3.
Guidance, which enables your future self to achieve even higher levels of consciousness, which enables them to send
left to right breeze on this hole.
allows you to make even more aligned choices, and so on. Over time, this quantum dialogue becomes so refined, so immediate, so seamless, that it feels less like receiving guidance from inside yourself and more like accessing different aspects of your own expanded consciousness. You begin to experience yourself.
There we go. Good
As a
shot.
linear being moving through
Okay,
time,
let's see what we do here.
but as a multidimensional consciousness expressing itself across multiple temporal coordinates simultaneously. This is when life begins to feel magical. This is when synchronicity becomes your natural language. This is when manifestation shifts from effort to flow, from force to allowance.
Second shot on the third.
But reaching this level of quantum consciousness requires a fundamental shift in how you relate to uncertainty, how you navigate the unknown, how you respond to the gap between what is and what could be. Most people are terrified of uncertainty because they've been conditioned to believe that security comes from knowing, from controlling.
Okay, nicely done. You're in the fairway now. Let's hit up onto that green.
Invites you into
And this one's around 175 yards out.
Instead of seeing
And with this
uncertainty as
approach, you gotta
dangerous,
be careful.
you begin to
Down slope
recognize
around
it
the pin.
as
This one
fertile
could get away from you.
in which all possibilities emerge. Instead of trying to eliminate uncertainty, you learn to dance with it, to surf the waves of possibility, to find your footing in the space between what was and what could be. This doesn't mean becoming passive or careless about your choices.
Safe approach.
It
Nice.
means being actively receptive, consciously open, deliberately attuned to the quantum information that's constantly streaming through your awareness. It means learning to make decisions not just from what you currently know, but from what you sense is possible. Not just from present circumstances, but from future potential. And as you develop this capacity, as you become more comfortable with uncertainty, as you learn to trust the intelligence that's orchestrating your life, something remarkable begins to happen. You start to experience reality as infinitely responsive, as continuously creative, as fundamentally alive and aware and eager to co-create with you. This is a learnable skill. This is a developable capacity. This is your natural birthright as a quantum conscious being. Now, what we've explored today is really just touching the surface.
And we are we on the green? We're on the green, yes. A hole, though, I still can't see it. I'm just going to have to hope we get this close.
There are layers upon layers of frequency that transform this from occasional synchronicity into consistent, effortless
This putt's about
creation.
14 feet
If
out.
you're feeling this pull to go deeper, to understand the complete framework of how consciousness operates across 9 distinct frequencies, I've put together everything I know about moving from seeking to being, from manifestation to embodiment.
Putt appears to be online.
Beyond the frequencies.
Amazing. And now setting up for the double.
Itself, rather than just receiving it. You'll find it linked in the pinned comment below. But developing this capacity requires you to let go of some deeply conditioned patterns of thinking and perceiving.
And our current leader sitting at +2.
Victim of circumstances. You have to stop identifying with the version of yourself that doesn't yet know what your future self knows.
Wind is blowing right to left on this hole.
Uncertainty, because quantum consciousness operates in the space between what is and what could be. Most people resist this because uncertainty feels dangerous. The ego mind wants to know, wants to control, wants to predict and plan and manage every variable. But quantum consciousness requires you to trust in intelligence, that is vaster than your personal mind, to surrender to a flow that is more elegant than your individual will. This doesn't mean becoming
Work.
passive.
Nice approach
This
on that
doesn't mean
one.
sitting back and
Here we
waiting
go.
for things
Next
to
on the
happen
tee.
to you. This means becoming actively receptive, consciously aligned, deliberately attuned to the quantum information that's constantly streaming through your consciousness. It means learning to ask different questions. Instead of, how can I make this happen? You ask, how is this already happening? Instead of, what do I need to do? You ask, what am I being guided to become? Instead of, why isn't this working? You ask, what is this showing me about the path I'm on?
Well, unfortunately, that's a missed
These
green.
questions shift you out of classical
And
consciousness
second shot
and
here
into
on the fourth.
quantum awareness. They align you with the flow of synchronicity rather than the struggle of force. They connect you with the version of yourself that already knows how this story ends. But there's something even deeper happening here that most people miss entirely. When you begin asking these quantum questions, when you start looking for the patterns and synchronicities and guidances that are always present, you're not just changing your perspective. You're literally altering the quantum field itself. Remember, in quantum physics,
You think this, you could
the
say par.
observer and the observed are inseparably connected. Your consciousness isn't just watching reality unfold, it's actively participating in the creation of reality in every moment. And when you shift
Now
from
this from
classical
5
observation
feet.
to quantum observation, from passive watching to active participation, you change the fundamental nature of what becomes possible.
Boom, you drop that one, and that's back-to-back
This is why
birdies.
some people seem to live in a completely different reality than others, even when they're
Too much
surrounded by the
power
same
into that putt.
circumstances.
And
They're not
hopefully we
just
can
seeing
finish
the
this
same
one off
reality
for
differently.
double bogey.
They're literally existing
All right,
in a
let's head to the
different
next.
quantum field. One that's been shaped by their
And the
level of
score to beat
consciousness,
is 1 over.
their quality of observation, their way of
Okay, time
participating
for the fifth
in
hole.
the creative
It's a par
process.
4.
And here's what's most remarkable. This different quantum field doesn't just affect their individual experience. It affects everyone they come into contact with. When someone is operating from quantum consciousness, their very presence begins to shift the quantum field around them, creating opportunities for others to experience higher possibilities, deeper synchronicities,
Look at you,
more elegant
just
solutions.
absolutely hammering that.
This is why being around certain people feels inspiring, while being around others feels draining.
Have a
It's
good tee
not just
shot.
about personality or energy. It's about the quantum field they're generating through their level of consciousness. People who operate from quantum awareness literally broadcast a field of possibility that invites others into their own expanded potential. And as you begin to operate from this level of consciousness, as you start to generate your own field of quantum possibility, you become what we might call a reality catalyst. Someone whose very presence accelerates the manifestation process for themselves and others. But becoming a reality catalyst
And now hit it out
requires
of
more
the
than
rough.
just understanding these principles intellectually. It requires embodying them, living them, breathing them until they become your natural way of being. And this embodiment process involves working with resistance, with doubt, with the parts of yourself that want to cling to familiar patterns, even when those patterns are limiting. Every time you choose quantum
Okay, this is about
consciousness over classical
155 yards to the
limitation,
pin.
every time you trust guidance over control, every time you follow synchronicity over force, you're literally rewiring your nervous system to support higher levels of possibility. You're training your brain to recognize and respond to quantum information rather than just classical data. This
Okay, there we
rewiring
go.
process can feel challenging at first because you're essentially teaching yourself to operate from an entirely different operating system.
Setting
It's
up
like
here,
learning a
nestled
new
into this
language, developing
greenside
a new
rough.
sense, awakening capacities that have been dormant for most of your life. But as this rewiring progresses, As these new neural pathways become stronger and more stable, what initially required conscious effort begins to happen.
Ooh, nicely done on the chip shot. And this would be nice to sink, be down to even par after that. But I think it's breaking to the left.
Co-creation with the universe becomes as natural as breathing. And here's something else.
Come on.
The more you practice this alignment, the stronger
Okay,
the connection
for the save.
The more you trust the guidance from your future self, the clearer that guidance becomes. The more you act on synchronistic opportunities.
This one's just a 3-footer.
Synchronistic opportunities appear. What synchronicity or guidance have you been ignoring that's trying to get your attention?
Okay, current leader sitting at +1.
Share what your future self might be trying to tell you. You're literally strengthening the quantum entanglement between your present moment
6th
awareness
hole coming up.
and your future self-consciousness. You're building a bridge across time that becomes more stable and reliable the more you use it. This is why some people seem to live charmed lives, while others struggle with the same dreams for years. It's not about worthiness or luck or external circumstances. It's about quantum alignment. It's about learning to collaborate with time.
There we go. Nice contact on that one.
Once you understand this, once you begin to experience it firsthand, you can never go back to the old way of thinking.
Oh, let's see what we can do on this
You
one.
can never again believe that you're separate from the reality you're experiencing. You can never again accept that you're powerless to influence your circumstances. But let me warn you about something. Once you start experiencing reality this way, once you begin to see the quantum intelligence that's orchestrating your life, you can never go back to the old way of thinking. You can never again believe that you're separate from the reality you're experiencing.
Oh yeah,
You can never again
I'll approve
accept
that.
that you're powerless to influence your circumstances. This awareness comes with tremendous responsibility.
And here's our
Because
second
once you
shot
know that
on
your
the
consciousness
6th.
is constantly creating reality, you become accountable for the reality you're creating. You can no longer blame external circumstances for your experience. You can no longer pretend that your thoughts and feelings don't matter. You can no longer play small because you think you don't have any real influence. But here's what's beautiful about this responsibility.
Oh, come on.
It's also tremendous empowerment. Because when you truly understand that you are co-creating reality in every moment,
Okay, this putt's
when you
forward at par.
recognize that your consciousness
Just
is
a
one of
bit
the
of a
most
break here to the right, I
forces
think.
in the universe, when you realize that you have the ability to work with quantum intelligence rather than against it, everything becomes possible.
This putt's
You
going.
do have influence.
And in there
You have more
for the par.
influence than you've ever imagined.
Here is a
Your
12-footer.
consciousness is one of the most
And I think this
powerful
one's
forces
breaking to the
in
left.
universe. And learning to use that power wisely, learning to align it with love rather than fear, with service rather than selfishness, with truth rather than illusion. This is the great work of conscious evolution. This is the journey from unconscious creation to conscious creation, from random manifestation
Okay,
to
you've got
deliberate
this one for par.
manifestation, from accidental influence to intentional influence. And this journey doesn't happen.
And it is 1 over for the current leader here.
Awakening, remembering.
That wind blowing right into our face on this one.
Every day offers new opportunities to practice quantum consciousness. Every moment presents fresh invitations to choose collaboration over resistance. Every experience provides another chance to recognize yourself as a co-creator.
Would you look at the distance on
As you
this?
practice, as you develop
Just
this
a pure
capacity,
swing.
as you strengthen this connection with your quantum nature, you begin to notice that life becomes less effortful.
All right,
and more
give
flowing,
this a
less
rest.
conflicted, and more harmonious, less accidental, and more purposeful.
For 2026.
Oh, this one's dropping fairway for sure.
In Last Asylum playing rages, but the game won't rush you.
This is why you're here. This is why this moment
Second shot here on the 7th.
Your future self needs you to understand this, needs you to step into this awareness, needs you to begin operating from this level of consciousness. Because the future that wants to emerge through you depends on you making this shift. And that future is magnificent. I can feel it from here, rippling through time, calling to something deep within you that recognizes its truth. It's a future where you're no longer struggling against reality, but dancing with it. Where you're no longer trying to force outcomes, but allowing them to emerge naturally. Where you're no longer living from fear, from a deep trust in the intelligence that's orchestrating everything. But that future doesn't exist in some
Okay, this is
distant
about
tomorrow.
240 yards
That
or so
future
from the
is being
pin.
created right now, in this moment, through your willingness to see reality differently, to think differently, to choose differently. That future is calling to you through every synchronicity you notice, through every intuitive guidance you receive, through every moment of alignment you experience. The question is, are you listening? Are you responding? Are you allowing yourself to be guided by the intelligence that knows exactly how to bring this future into manifestation? Because here's what I want you to understand. You don't have to figure this out alone. You don't have to force this transformation through willpower. You don't have to become someone different than who you are. You simply have to remember who you've always been, beneath the conditioning,
Decent
beneath the
approach
limitations,
there.
beneath the
We're
beliefs
on the
that
green
have
side
kept you
rough
trapped
currently. Let's
in classical reality.
be careful with that chip.
You are already quantum consciousness. You have always been quantum consciousness. You are simply awakening to what has always been true. Every moment of your life, your consciousness has been interacting with the quantum field, shaping reality, creating experiences, influencing outcomes. You've just been doing it unconsciously, automatically, without awareness of your creative power. Now you're being invited to do it consciously.
This one's about 21 feet to the
With
cup.
full recognition of your
And it
role
looks like this
in
one's
the
going
creative
pretty
process.
hard right to
You're
left.
being invited to become a conscious co-creator rather than an unconscious creator. To work with quantum intelligence rather than against it. To align with the flow of possibility rather than resisting it. And as you make this shift, as you step into conscious creation, as you begin to work deliberately with your quantum nature,
Go down to even
you
par if you think
discover
this.
capacities within
Looks
yourself
like a bit of a break in
that
this
you
one
never
to the
knew
right.
existed. You'll experience synchronicities that seem miraculous. You'll attract opportunities that appear impossible. You'll find solutions that emerge from nowhere. But more than that, you'll experience a deep sense of coming home to yourself, of remembering who you really are,
Here we go. Par
of
putt coming
aligning
up.
with a purpose and meaning that goes far beyond your individual life. Because this awakening isn't just personal. This shift in quantum consciousness isn't just about improving your individual circumstances. This is
This was
about
just a
participating
3-foot
in
putt.
the greatest transformation in human history. The evolution of consciousness itself. That future requires you to make a choice right now. It requires you to step out of
And the
victim
score sheet
consciousness
is 1 over.
and into creator consciousness. It requires you to stop waiting for permission and start giving
Okay, have a
yourself
good tee
permission.
shot here on the
It
8th hole. We have
requires
a
you
par
to stop
4 ahead of
looking for
us.
external validation and start trusting your internal guidance. This choice isn't something you make once and then forget about. This choice happens in every moment, with every thought, with every emotional response, with every decision about how to interpret what's happening. Are you going to see
that'll
this
work.
moment as random, as something happening to you, as another day in a
Okay,
life that
you're up
feels
next.
stuck and repetitive? Or are you going to recognize this moment as part of a greater pattern, as a piece of cosmic choreography, as your future self reaching back to guide you toward what you're becoming? The choice is always yours, but here's what I want you to understand.
Well, that's too bad.
Choosing quantum
Okay, second
consciousness
shot
isn't just
here
a
on the
personal
8th
decision.
hole.
It's a collective one. Every person who makes this shift, who begins operating from this level of awareness, who starts collaborating with time rather than fighting against it, contributes to a global awakening that's already underway. We are living through the most extraordinary time.
That'll do for the approach.
We are witnessing the emergence of a new species.
And this one's from around 75 yards out.
That transcends the limitations that have defined our species for millennia. And you are not just witnessing this emergence, you are participating in it. You are one of the pioneers exploring this new frontier of human potential. Take a moment and feel into that. Feel into the magnitude of what we're talking about. Feel into the significance of this moment in the larger story of human evolution. Feel into the possibility
And
that
that'll
your
just
life,
sneak
your
into
choices,
the first
your
cut of rough.
consciousness matters in ways you've never fully grasped. Take a moment and comment below with this phrase: I am quantum consciousness awakening to itself. Not as a casual interaction, but as an energetic declaration, as a conscious interruption in the loop of ordinary awareness, as a signal to the field that you're ready to step into this understanding. Because when you make this declaration, when you consciously choose to align with quantum consciousness, you're not just changing your individual reality, you're contributing to the collective shift that's happening all across the world. You're adding your voice to the choir of awakening consciousness that is literally changing the world. And this is just the beginning. As you begin to work with these principles, as you start to experience the synchronicities,
staring down a birdie putt here.
Quantum alignment,
This one's going up the hill
you're going to
and
discover
to the
things
left.
about reality that will astound you. You're going to realize that the universe is far more magical, far more responsive, far more alive than you ever imagined. You're going to discover that consciousness and matter are not separate things, but different aspects of the same fundamental reality. You're going to experience firsthand that your thoughts and feelings are
And
not
about
private events
14
happening
feet to
inside your
go.
head,
I
but
think we got a
creative
left to
forces
right
that
break here.
literally shape the world around you. You're going to realize that time is not a river flowing in one direction, but an ocean in which past, present, and future exist simultaneously.
And
Which
that
your
will work.
consciousness can navigate freely once you understand the principles of quantum navigation. And as these realizations deepen, as these
All you gotta do
experiences
is
multiply,
put that in the hole for par.
as this understanding becomes lived reality rather than intellectual
And that will
concept,
do.
you're going to find yourself naturally
And the
wanting
current
to
leader
share
sits at
with
3 over in this one.
to embody it so fully that your very presence becomes an invitation.
Okay, tailwind blowing with us on this one.
Quantum nature. This understanding will revolutionize every aspect of your life. Your relationships will transform as you begin to see the quantum entanglements that connect you with others. Your work will evolve as you start to recognize your role in the larger pattern of collective awakening. Your relationship with money,
Okay, let's go.
health,
Pound this one in.
creativity, with purpose. Everything will shift as you begin operating from quantum consciousness rather than classical limitation. But here's what's most important. This isn't about becoming someone different. This is about remembering who you've always been. This is about accessing a level of your own consciousness that has always existed, that has been covered conditioned.
That swing was to die for.
By the belief that you are separate from the reality you're experiencing. You are not separate. You have never been separate. You are an integral part of the quantum field.
All right, we're in the fairway bunker. Let's see what you got.
You are consciousness itself, temporarily wearing the costume of a human personality, temporarily playing the role of someone who is learning these things for the first time.
Okay, let's get out of this bunker.
Some part of you has always known this. Some part of you has always been operating from quantum consciousness. Some part of you has always been in communication with your future self, has always been following the synchronistic guidance, has always been participating
Nothing wrong
in
with
the
that.
cosmic
Good amount
dance
of
of
distance out of that
creation.
bunker.
The only thing that's changing
Okay, this
is
one's
your
around
conscious
160
awareness
yards
of
from the
what's
pit.
already happening. The only thing that's shifting is your willingness to recognize and work with the quantum intelligence that has been guiding your life all along. And as this recognition deepens, as this willingness expands, your life will begin to feel less like something that's happening to you, and more like something you're consciously creating in collaboration with the universe itself. This is the invitation that's being extended to you right now. This is the opportunity that your future self has been orchestrating for who knows how long. This is the moment where everything can change, where you can step out of the story of limitation and into the story of infinite possibility. But you have to choose it. You have to say yes to it. You have to be willing to release the familiar patterns of thinking and perceiving that keep you trapped in classical reality. If this understanding is touching something deep within you, if these words are awakening a recognition that goes beyond intellectual comprehension, if you feel something shifting in your consciousness even as you listen to this, then I invite you to subscribe.
Button this one from downtown. This is it's going to be interesting.
To this
Careful with this one going downhill to the right.
Subscribe to stay connected with this understanding, to continue deepening into these principles, to be part of the community of consciousness that is pioneering this new way of being human. Because the journey we're on
This one's
is not
looking
one you
good
take
so far.
alone. It's a collective awakening.
Oh no,
A
it's right there.
species-wide evolution.
All right, got most
A
of the way there.
transformation that
Okay,
requires
11
all of us
feet
working
to deal
together.
with.
And
Looks like
every
this one will
person
break a
who
bit to the
makes this
left.
shift, who chooses quantum consciousness over classical limitation, who begins operating from future memory rather than past conditioning, makes it easier for the next person to make the same choice. This is how consciousness evolution works.
Oh, it's getting there.
This is how new reality
All right,
is
bogey
going to
putt
be.
drops. Good stuff.
This is how the
And
impossible
let's
becomes
get
inevitable.
going. Give this a tap
As
and
we
we'll move
begin to
on.
wrap up our time together,
And moving
I
along.
want you to take a moment to really feel into what's been stirred up within you during this conversation.
All right, and one of you has 3 over par. That's the score to beat.
What recognitions have dawned? What possibilities have opened up that weren't there before you pressed play
And here we go
on this
with
video?
the 10th hole. It's a par 5.
Because those insights, those recognitions, those possibilities, they're not just mental concepts. They're quantum signatures, vibrational patterns, frequency adjustments that are literally reshaping your reality field, even as we speak. The fact that you're here, the fact that you've stayed with me through this entire journey, the fact that something in you recognizes the truth of what we've been experiencing. This is evidence that the shift is already
Good one.
happening within you. This is proof that your
And
future
next on the
self
tee.
successfully made contact with your present moment awareness. Now the question is, what are you going to do with this contact? How are you going to honor this connection? How are you going to allow it to transform not just your understanding, but your actual lived experience? Because understanding without embodiment is just intellectual entertainment. Recognition without integration is just spiritual bypassing. The real magic happens when you take what you've discovered here and begin living it, breathing it, embodying it in every moment of your life. This means paying attention to synchronicities with new eyes. This means trusting your intuitive guidance with new confidence. This means making decisions from future wisdom rather than present limitation. This
Fairway
means
bound.
recognizing yourself as a quantum conscious being rather than a helpless victim of circumstances. It means waking up each morning with the awareness
Here's our
that
second
today is
shot
not
on the
just another
10th.
day in your life. but another opportunity to collaborate with your future self in creating the reality you're meant to inhabit. It means going to sleep each night with gratitude for the quantum intelligence that's orchestrating your life, with trust in the process that's unfolding through you, with excitement for the synchronicities and guidances that tomorrow will bring. This is the path of quantum consciousness. This is the journey of awakening to your true nature.
And
as a
second
creator.
shot on the 10th coming up.
This is the adventure of remembering that you are not separate from the universe, but an integral part of its ongoing creation. And the most beautiful thing about this journey is that it never
Well, that
ends.
one wasn't super clean.
There is no final destination, no ultimate achievement, no point at which you've mastered quantum consciousness.
Okay, third shot.
There are only deeper levels of understanding, more subtle recognitions, more elegant alignments with the flow of creation itself. Every day brings new opportunities to practice these principles. Every moment offers fresh invitations to choose quantum consciousness over classical limitation. Every experience provides another chance to recognize yourself as the creator of your reality, rather than its victim. This is what it means to live as a quantum conscious being. This is what it means to collaborate with time, rather than fighting against it. This is what it means to dance with reality, rather than struggling against it. And the more you practice this dance, the more graceful it becomes. The more you trust this collaboration, the more miraculous
Oop,
your
that's
life
not good.
the more you embody quantum consciousness.
Be careful with this one. We're in the deep stuff.
It becomes that this is not just a nice idea, but the fundamental truth of existence itself. So as we come to the end of our time together, I want to leave you with an invitation and a challenge. The invitation is to begin implementing what you've learned here immediately. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait until you understand everything completely. Don't wait for external permission. Start paying attention to the quantum signatures that your future self is broadcasting right now. Start following the synchronistic breadcrumbs that are being left for you. Start asking the questions that align you with quantum consciousness rather than classical perfection. The challenge is to share this understanding with others, not by preaching or convincing or trying to convert anyone, but by embodying these principles so fully that your very presence becomes an invitation for others to remember their own quantum nature. Because this awakening is not meant to be kept to yourself.
And just put this one in its home. It's a long way from home, but I
This
have faith.
understanding is meant to be
This
shared.
one's going uphill.
lived,
Looks like it's moving
demonstrated
right to
by
left.
the way you move through the world. Every person who awakens to quantum consciousness makes it easier for the next person to make the same leap. Every individual who chooses to collaborate with their future self contributes to the collective awakening that's happening all across the planet. This is how we transform.
25 feet from the cup.
This is how we create
And here's
the
an
more
uphill
beautiful
putt.
future that
Moving to
wants
the left.
emerge. This is how consciousness evolves. Before you go, drop one word in the comments that captures the energy you're choosing to embody moving forward. Not just any word, but the word that feels like your energetic
Looking good so
signature
far.
to the quantum field. The word that represents the
From there,
frequency
fine
you're
effort.
committing to maintain.
This one for the
The
birdie.
word that your future
Careful
self
here,
would choose
going downhill
if they were
and
speaking
to
through you
the
right
right.
now. Because when you make that declaration, when you consciously choose your vibrational signature,
That shows some resilience. Birdied this one after a bogey on the last. Well done.
you're not
All
just
right, all we need is a
commenting on
little tap
video.
here. Let's do it.
You're programming reality. You're sending a signal to the universe about
And
who
that'll
you're
drop.
choosing to become. And if this journey into quantum consciousness has awakened something
And the score to
within
beat is
you,
5 over par.
if you feel called to continue exploring these depths, to keep diving into these mysteries, to stay connected with this frequency
Teeing
of
off now,
understanding,
a long par 4.
then subscribe not just to stay connected, but to stay coherent with the truth of who you really are. Subscribe to remain aligned with the version of yourself that knows these things, not as concepts, but as lived reality. Subscribe to be part of a community that is pioneering this new frontier.
Okay, next, let's see what you got.
Because the more of us who embody quantum consciousness, the more the world reflects that truth. The more of us who choose to collaborate with our future selves, the more miraculous reality becomes forever. The more of us who remember that we are creators rather than victims, the more creative
I'll
we
accept
become
that.
our human experience.
Okay, setting up here with an elevated
Consider
green
sharing this
ahead.
understanding with someone who's ready to hear it. When you share quantum consciousness concepts, you're not just passing along information, you're creating an energetic
This one's
ripple
heading to the
that
rough.
expands collective awareness and often synchronizes exactly what both you and
And
they
this one's about
need to
210
hear.
yards or so from the pin.
This is our time. This is our opportunity. This is our gift to the world and to future generations. The quantum field is listening. Your future
This one's
self
heading
is
a
waiting.
little bit to the left.
The universe is ready to dance with you in ways you've never imagined. The question is, are you ready to say yes? If you're seeing this, it's already happening. The shift is already underway. The awakening is already begun. Welcome to quantum consciousness. Welcome to the adventure of remembering who you really are. Welcome to the magnificent future that's calling you home. Now, if you're recognizing yourself as someone who's operating differently from the crowd, someone who sees patterns others miss, someone who's ready to prove their quantum nature with conscious action, there's something crucial you need to
Setting up here
understand
for your fourth
about why
shot.
you're not like the others. And this is the moment to prove it. The observer effect we've discussed creates a unique signature in those who truly understand it. And there are specific ways this sets you apart from collective unconsciousness.
And from the green side bunker. Well done out of the bunker. Here we have a 16-foot putt. And this one breaking just a touch to the right, I think.
Listen to me carefully, child of God. This message is not for everyone. If you play with darkness, mock the things of the spirit,
Sink
or
this,
treat
you
God
could save
lightly,
par.
you should not
Looks
be
like this
here.
one's breaking to the left.
Only those who truly seek the Most High, only the ones who feel that quiet pull in their soul,
Looking good.
are meant to hear what I have
Well
to say.
done.
If you are still watching,
And this
it
one
is
for
because heaven
the
allowed
triple
this message
bogey.
to find you at the perfect time. Your steps were guided here. What I'm going to reveal will confront you, strengthen you.
And we're all tied up
Make
at
you
8
to
over
the
par.
close of your life if you receive it with an open heart. This is a word for
Okay,
the
we're on the
chosen
tee here
and
of
for
the
the
12th hole. We
strongest
got
of
a par
all.
4.
Before we go deeper, I want you to seal your agreement in the spirit. If you feel this speaking to you, comment 777 right now as a sign that you know this message is for you. And do not keep this to yourself. Subscribe to Eyes of the Chosen. Tap the bell icon so you do not miss what
And up
heaven is
next.
releasing next. And share this video with another child of God who needs to wake up. Now, Chosen One, stay with me until the end. There is something you must hear. Who
Here's
is
our second shot on the
this
12th.
Chosen One? Identity, rank, and hidden training. Chosen One, listen closely. When I say the strongest Chosen One, I am not speaking
Well,
about
missed
ego,
the green on
titles, or
that one,
yours
but
that are
I've already
spiritual on the
forgotten about
outside.
it.
I am speaking about those whose spirit has been tempered in fire, whose heart has been broken and rebuilt by God Himself, and whose obedience has been forged in the hidden place many are called. Few are chosen, and among the chosen there is a remnant inside the remnant. These are the ones heaven can trust with heavier
Okay,
burdens,
setting up
no
here on the
greater
green side
assignments.
rough.
The strongest chosen one is not always the loudest voice in the room. They are often the quiet, observing soul in the corner who sees what others ignore and feels what others cannot sense. From childhood, they felt different, like they did not fully belong to the world around them.
Setting up in the green
While
side rough,
others were
just
comfortable
about
blending in,
putting.
they carried an invisible weight, a strange knowing that their life would not be ordinary. They might have been mocked as too sensitive, too deep, or too serious, but that sensitivity was spiritual radar, not weakness. You may remember being the one who saw the brokenness in your family before anyone else. You may have
Let's
felt
get out of this green
darkness in
side rough
atmospheres,
cleanly.
heaviness in certain places, confusion in people's words when their spirit did not match their mouth. You may have cried without knowing why,
Still
feeling
want to save that par.
burdens
This is the
that
time to
did
do it.
not
You need this
logically belong
to go.
to you.
I think this one's
These are
breaking pretty
signs
hard to the
of
left.
spiritual rank. The strongest chosen ones are often born with a higher sensitivity to the unseen because their assignment requires sharper discernment. Yet, the world did not celebrate this. Because of that, many of the strongest chosen grew up feeling misunderstood, rejected, or
7-foot
even
putt here.
cursed. Friendships failed without clear reasons. Family members turned cold. People they loved deeply did not truly see them.
All right, this one's for
But
bogey.
hear me. Rejection was not a curse. It was a filter. God used rejection to keep you from being formed by the wrong voices. He allowed doors to close so your spirit would not be caged inside environments
Okay,
that
8
could not
feet.
carry who you are becoming. The strongest chosen ones go through training. Others do not understand.
And the
Some
score
people
to
live
beat
comfortably in
is 9 over
spiritual
par.
sleep. You were thrown into battle early. Strange warfare shows up in your life. Attacks come in
Heads up,
patterns.
wind
Every
going
time
right to
you
left
try to
on
step
this one.
forward, something tries to pull you back. This is not because you are weak. It is because you are dangerous to darkness. The enemy identified your potential before you did and decided you must be broken, discouraged, and silenced. Look at the rhythm of your life. How many times have you survived what should have destroyed you? How many times did you think, this is the end? And yet, somehow, you rose again. The strongest chosen ones are still standing after storms that would have killed others spiritually. This is spiritual evidence of rank. Strength is not proven in easy days. It is proven in the days where you pray with tears, worship with a heavy heart, and choose God, even when you feel abandoned. You have also noticed that your conscience is different. You cannot sin comfortably. You
Well, that
cannot
approach
live
kind
in
of missed the
compromise
mark a
and
little
feel
bit.
at peace.
Okay, next
Where
on the
others
tee.
are able to make excuses, you feel conviction quickly. You are pulled back to alignment again and again. This is not God being harsh with you. This is God protecting his investment inside you. The strongest chosen ones are disciplined more strictly because what they carry is more costly. When heaven has placed a heavier mantle on your life, your margin for
Nice
foolishness
shot into
becomes
this green. Good work.
the hidden training of the strongest chosen
All right,
ones
here's our
often
second
looks
shot on
like
the 13th.
There were seasons when God allowed everyone to walk away so you would finally hear his voice clearly. At times, it felt like punishment, but it was separation. In those quiet nights, when no one answered your calls, and no one understood your tears, heaven was teaching you how to walk with God as your closest companion.
All right, this is for the bird.
The strongest chosen
This
are
one's
trained
going
to stand
hard to the
even
right.
when no one claps for them, no one validates them, and no one sees what they are carrying. You might have been kept away from certain friendships, relationships,
Ouch, right
paths
by the
that
hole.
looked attractive. You did not understand why
8
things never
feet to the
worked out
cup.
for you the way they did for others. Listen to me. That was divine protection, not failure.
I'm good.
The
Oh man, hopefully you can grab the bogey.
What?
Okay, here's a 4-foot putt for us.
I'll take chicken marsala.
God closed some doors, not because you were unworthy, but because you were too valuable to be wasted there. Another
He's setting up here.
It's fine.
is the weight of compassion they carry. Even after betrayal, they still feel called to.
Okay, moving on.
Even after being misunderstood, they still feel drawn to help others heal.
Yeah, we're all
They may
tied up
appear
10
stern
over after
or
that one.
guarded sometimes, but inside them is a deep well of mercy. This is why people come to you